Welcome to Wellness Rebranded.
We know there is so much conflicting health and fitness advice out there.
And you're tired of the wellness fads, endless diets, and impossible standards that make you feel like nothing you do is ever enough.
You're ready to tune into your mind and body and feel empowered around health.
We're the Healing Trio, here to help you redesign your relationships with food, fitness, and yourself.
I'm Elizabeth, registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor.
I'm Maria, licensed mental health therapist.
And I'm Tara, personal trainer.
Together, we're changing the narrative on health away from diet culture, hustle culture, and toxic positivity and towards healthful self-care.
So grab your water bottle, get ready to laugh, learn, and grow.
And let's start rebranding your wellness journey. Welcome back to another episode of Wellness Rebranded. Today, we are going to talk about positive affirmations, where they help, maybe where they don't help, and how you can practice them.
Yes.
I said all of that with a question mark.
Do you guys know what positive affirmations are?
I do.
Yes.
How would you define them?
I would define them as short, positive statements you say to yourself.
Yes.
Like
Very
the
good.
little engine that could. Like, I think I can, I think I can.
Without,
Do you know this book?
Without the thing.
Wait, do you know this book?
Of course. Do you not know it?
No.
Yeah, but she didn't grow up in the U.S.
Okay,
It's
but
a very, very well-known children's book called The Little Engine That Could, and it's this kind of like dilapidated train that can't make it up the mountain on the tracks, and he says to himself, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can.
Oh, nice.
Throughout
I never
the-
even
throughout
bought it
the whole
for
book.
my kids. I feel bad.
Look it
now.
up, The Little Engine That Could.
I'm sure they survived without it.
You can read it to them now.
Right.
Wrap it up under the Christmas
This will be a
tree this
Christmas
year, Maria.
present. New tradition in Maria's family.
Oh, right.
If it makes you feel better, Mavs doesn't have it either.
Oh my gosh. I know I'm getting both of your families for Christmas.
So yes, positive affirmations, you probably have heard it talked about a lot in the mental health field. And I really believe in the power of these affirmations. These are phrases that when you repeat them regularly, it can help disrupt habits of anxious or negative thinking. It can bring motivation. It can open up possibility of thoughts that instead of bringing you down, lift you up, right? It can reduce stress, even promote some self-confidence. But there's some rules to these positive affirmations. Mm-hmm. Do you know them?
I do not.
I don't know the rules, but I sort
rules,
of know
but-
the limits to them, I would say.
All right. So these are phrases that they work best when you say them out loud. You don't have to, but it's a good practice to say things to yourself out loud. We always recommend that it's on the present time. It's not like I will succeed. I am succeeding. Like make it in the present tense.
Good tip.
Yeah, that is a good tip.
Something that resonates with you. There are several affirmations out there that you might read, and it's not something that aligns with your purpose at the time, and that's okay. So it's something that should resonate with you. It's something short.
Question.
Yes.
What if it's something that you don't currently identify with, but you want to?
Perfect. And I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Yes. So even if it doesn't feel true at the time, if it's something that instead aligns with your purpose and what you want to feel or where you want to be or get to, then yes. But many times there are affirmations out there like I don't know. I can't think of one right now, but I've read many that would never apply to me, that they don't feel resonate at all. But and they don't have to resonate completely, but resonate somewhat, because then it doesn't feel authentic to you, right? And only you know where you're going. So it has to be authentic. And of course, like everything else, it has to be consistent. Get into the practice of positive affirmations and then practice it and give it a try for a while. It's not like, I said to myself one positive affirmation and here I am. Now I'm the happiest person on earth. Like nothing else. It doesn't work like that. It's a practice like anything else, right? But positive affirmations can actually help create new pathways in your brain, like neuroplasticity, right? Like you can learn new ways for your brain to talk to yourself and create new patterns and adapt to new things. Same with positive affirmations, right? It makes me think of Tara's work is similar to muscle memory. Yeah. It's like you're flexing a more positive view of yourself with what you tell yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
An analogy that I share with my clients all the time. Have either of you guys read the book called Good Morning, I Love You?
No.
So it's a book about mindfulness written by Dr. Shauna Shapiro, and she is, I forget, she's a psychologist, but she studies mindfulness. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Now, full disclosure, I believe she republished the book under a different name, but it is a lot about the power of mindfulness, and it's about waking up and saying to yourself, good morning, I love you, is sort of where it originally came from, and a little bit of positive affirmations, a lot of mindfulness. But she gives the analogy of practicing anytime you're trying to change that thought pattern, right? It's like you're going down you're carving a new path in the woods, as opposed to your super highway of habit where you're just automatically thinking, right? Instead, it's like, imagine you're clearing out the woods, and then maybe you're laying gravel, and then eventually, you're making the drive easier and paving it or whatever. And that's like the analogy she gives for creating new neural pathways, which I think is such a great analogy that I share with people all the time. Is like, yeah, maybe you're not doing it every time. You're going down the super highway of your habit, but each time you do go down this new one, you're carving that path, that neural pathway, just a little bit deeper into the woods, a little more automated.
Dude, I actually love this because I share a super similar analogy with my clients about creating neuromuscular pathways. And Maria found out last episode that I used to live in Hawaii. But I had a friend who was a total mountain man, and he discovered this waterfall that was not far from our house, but it was like 1.5 miles straight up the mountain. And the first time we went, it took us like 4 hours to get there because he had a machete and had to chop down, parts of the forest basically to get there. And we went 3 weeks in a row, and by the third week, it was like paved roads with like cops in the median, street lights. Like it was so easy to get there. And the way we build those neuromuscular pathways in our body is the exact same way.
Repetition.
You see? 3 things you made me think of, Elizabeth, is one, because usually for some reason, and we've talked about this before in the podcast, usually the habits of thinking that we have tend to go more towards negative self-talk and anxious thoughts, right? Yeah. So because of that, and we get so good at doing that, it is so important to counterbalance that with, for example, positive affirmations, if that's going to help us create those new pathways, right? So most of my clients and the groups that I run is we start by noticing what is what we tell ourselves and what is that highway that you tend to go in automatically many times without thinking. You just, like when you drive to work, sometimes in automatic pilot, right? Like it's like you just get on
you don't even remember.
You don't even know. You're just doing it because you're used to. This is a way to break that because it's so easy to get into the highway of, no, I cannot do it. Am I really have everything I need to do this? Am I going to be successful? I'm going to fail. I'm so stupid. I'm ugly.
Highway of negativity.
Yes. So then this is a way, again, to counterbalance that. Number 2, we all know that your thoughts affect your emotions and your actions. Yeah. That's the triangle.
Yeah.
So if we start by changing the thought patterns, that is going to bring an effect to your emotions and therefore your actions. Yeah, so positive affirmations is a good way to create an impact to your emotions and how you behave. Number 3, the opinion you have about yourself is formed by your thoughts. So if we keep working on your thoughts, like we're saying, that opinion about yourself might change to the better, right? Because again, for some reason I cannot explain, we're really good at noticing where we sucked at or what we sucked at.
Human negativity bias, right?
Yeah. So I thought for this episode, I'm going to share with you 15 affirmations that I chose very carefully. That doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone, but 15 affirmations that I think might resonate with.
Oh, I like it.
I do too.
Most people, right?
And how do you suggest they use these 15? Pick one?
You can pick one. You can save this episode and then try one for several weeks and then you try another one. There's one or 2 or 3 that are going to resonate with you more than the others. pick that one from this episode and then repeat that to yourself throughout the weeks and see how that feels, right? Because again, it's a way of showing and training your brain to talk to yourself in a different way, but also again, bring that motivation and a new perspective on what you want to do. Okay? So ready?
Let's hear them.
All right. Number 1, I forgive myself.
Yeah.
So important.
Poignant.
Guilt is like the queen of emotions out there that we struggle with. It's probably, in my experience as a therapist, maybe one of the top ones that people share they deal with is feelings of guilt. So whatever you did in the past, you did it because that's what you knew at that time with what you had. It's a good thing to say, I forgive myself. Number 2, I am proud of the many things I have accomplished. Number 3, I believe in my talents and abilities. We all have talents and abilities. But again, so easy to think we don't. But we do. Every single human being has a talent or an ability.
Yeah. But we tend to focus on the shortcomings.
Yeah. And if you think you don't, find it because you do. I assure you, you do. Number 4, I have many people around me who love me and see my value. If that resonates with you, then is one you can use. Number 5, I am stronger than I think.
Yesterday I was in this retreat where we were planning ahead for the new year and reflecting back, and one theme that kept coming up over and over again was I can do hard things.
I can do hard
Reminds
things.
me of what
Yes,
you just
that's
said.
another good option. Yes. Number 6, I have a voice that matters. This one resonates with me because as an immigrant coming here, I thought for many years that my voice maybe didn't matter much because I didn't belong here. And the older I got, the more I realized, hold on one second. It doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak. Your voice matters, period, because you have an opinion and you have something to say that can benefit so many people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, however, if this resonates with anyone for any other reason, that's another good one. Number 7, all my feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Remember how we talked
Yeah.
about there's no
Yes.
positive or negative
That's
feelings?
one of the main things I've learned from you.
All
Agreed.
your feelings are valid. They are not only valid, important and necessary. Number 8, I am capable of doing great things.
Oh, similar.
Right? So I can do hard things.
There you
I'm
go.
capable of doing great things.
That's right.
Imagine how much motivation it brings when you start thinking that you are capable of doing great things, right? Like this podcast, when you guys call me to be part of this, I'm like, I am capable of doing great things. This is one of them, and here we are.
Yeah.
But if we let the other pathway of the brain take over during these plans, then there's so many things that you might not do. Number 9, I am growing through every experience.
I use that one a lot.
I'm growing through every experience. Yeah, I like
Not
that one.
necessarily in those words, but like I remind myself frequently that either you succeed or you learn, or sometimes both.
Correct. Those times that we think that we might be failing, no, you're actually learning.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I agree.
Yep.
Number 10, my perspective is unique and important.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to my voice matters. Number 11, I love this one so much. I deserve love and respect
Yeah.
all the time.
I like that one too.
Me too.
And I forgot to say, you might notice that all of them start with I. So that's another good suggestion when you do your positive affirmations to start with I. And then, so I deserve love and respect. It is not dependent or anything else. You deserve love and respect at all times. Even again, I've said it many times, you do not deserve abuse from anyone, even if they were nice to you for 2 seconds, right? That's like somebody throwing you on the floor and kicking you for a long time and then give you their hand to help you get up. Oh, then that's fine? No, absolutely not. So this is kind of the counterpart of thinking that you can tolerate any kind of abuse. Well, you don't have to tolerate any kind of abuse. So when we really internalize that we deserve love and respect at all times, that can be life-changing. Number 12, I am loved just for being who I am.
Yeah.
Just for existing. And it reminds me of the episode with Jillian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, the self-worth that you are born with. This is a good affirmation for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Number 13, I am patient with my growth.
Ooh, I like that one.
I am not patient with my growth.
Me neither. That's why this is such a good one for me.
Yeah.
I should use that one.
Because sometimes we're harder with ourselves when we make the same mistake over and over. But I was reading actually on Instagram today, somebody put there, allow yourself to heal from the same thing more than once. Like to heal the same part of you more than once. Kind of similar to this. I am
kind of like
patient.
layers of an onion, right? Healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Number 14, I deserve all the good that comes my way.
I think that one's hard for a lot of people.
I'm sure.
We don't feel worthy of everything.
But just because it's hard doesn't mean that you're not worth to try to heal that part.
Mm-hmm.
And know that you are deserving of many good things that come your way. And you don't have to earn them. Good things can happen to you just because. And probably they do. But it's harder to notice those good things that happen to us. That phone call from somebody checking on you, that's a good thing. Having a good meal that you enjoyed is a good thing. And number 15, I trust myself to make the right decision.
That resonates with me too.
Even if you think, looking back that it wasn't the right decision, it might have been the right decision then. Trust yourself that the decisions that you make were the decisions that needed to be made at that time.
Yeah, well, and that you probably did the best you could with the information that you had at that time.
Absolutely. So that's my invitation, is for you, beautiful person who's listening to this. And it's funny because sometimes we can get even, is that the word, like you get cringe? That's what my 9-year-old says about everything. Mom, that's cringe. Everything is cringe. Even if it might be cringe. For even somebody to tell you, you beautiful person listening to this.
I prefer beautynesses.
I love beautynesses. So you beautiness listening to this episode, know that your thoughts come and go freely and that they don't define you, and that positive affirmations can help you, again, find those new paths of how you treat yourself. We've talked about this before. Your body lets you know what you need, and your thoughts do too. So you were talking in a previous episode about zooming out with nutrition and how we can do the same thing with our thoughts. Zoom out and notice most of the time, what are you thinking? What's the tone of your thoughts, and how do they make you feel? Are you thinking stuff that makes you feel motivated and willing to move forward? Or are you thinking stuff that makes you feel like SHIT? Right? Because then we want to bring some change to that. And you have the power to bring change to that. Right?
So I have like a success story with positive affirmations.
Ooh, and then I want to ask my question or... my thought about limitations.
What's your positive?
So we take my son, who's 3, to a gym class every Sunday morning. And they start the class by having all the kids stand up and make like muscles. and they say, I am strong, and then they put their hands on their hips like a superhero and say, I am brave, and then they do 2 thumbs up and say, I can do this. So they start every class like that, and they end every class like that. And I kid you not, like 3 or 4 months ago, I saw Mavs doing something in his room. I don't remember what he was trying to like build with his blocks or whatever, but he was like, I can do this. Like I heard him say it, and I was like, oh my God, that class that we hate every freaking week actually has been paying off. Like I was so excited, not even from like the physical, like sure he's getting exercise every week, which of course I love, but like the fact that he's developing like a positive mental affirmation from it is just like super, super rewarding for me.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And hopefully for him for his whole life.
But that's a perfect example of learning, the learning process.
Yeah.
The way we think, it's learned.
Yeah.
You're not born with your thinking patterns that you have right now. You learn them through experience, through believing what other people say that might not be true. So that is exactly learning how to think in a way that is beneficial for you and not the other way around, which we learn fast too.
Absolutely.
What was your question?
Well, it's just, I don't know if it's a question or a thought, but in some cases, like I'm thinking specifically of when I'm doing body image work and healing with people, but I imagine in other things too. Like I think of affirmations and mantras as for sure a positive tool, but not enough to sort of change those deep ingrained thought patterns and core beliefs. So I just wanted to make the distinction around it's not meant to sort of paper over something, right? It is a tool in a toolbox. And depending how deeply ingrained that is and how big of a hurdle, whatever the thought obstacle you're facing is, you may need more exploration around that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it's not a magic tool either. It's a tool like any other tool. You try it out. You give it a try, you practice it. The more you do it, the more you will know if it's going to bring some benefits. But it's definitely a good start, even if it feels super awkward at the beginning, especially saying it out loud. It took me years to be able to say something out loud or say, I am going to be okay. I am okay. I am doing the right thing right now. But usually, when we incorporate these among many other tools that we can have, it can bring a lot of benefits. And if it's not the tool for you, don't get discouraged, right? There's so many tools out there for us to change that self-talk. This is one of them, and we present it to you, and you take it or leave it. But just know that it's something that could work, and give it a try.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Like everything else. I mean, it's maybe not a treadmill what works for you, but it's something else that does kind of the same with the same goal.
Same thing.
But some people
a lot
don't
of tools
like
in
the
the toolbox.
Yeah. The more tools, the better. You have options, and that's always so good to know you have options, right? Okay, I'm going to end this episode inviting you to watch this video that I have on my Instagram, coaching_therapist. And this was a video I recorded while I was getting ready for a party. And the video is called 2 Ways or something like that to get ready for a party. And while I'm putting my dress on to go to this wedding, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, look at my belly. After kids, I can see it sticking out. And look at my arms, the
wobble.
Yeah, the wobble under my arms when I wave, or because it was like a strapless dress. And look at the gray hair. I've had like all these gray hair coming. But this is new for me. Yeah, and then I look at the mirror. I'm like, what? Like, it's like 10 by the minute. Okay, anyway. So that was the thinking process, me in the mirror, thinking, look at all these. I'm pointing out to myself all these things. To myself. Oh, yes. And then I'm like, hold on one second. There has to be another way to get ready for this party if I want to practice what I preach. So then I recorded what I started thinking at that moment. And even doing that switch and recording that episode for Instagram completely changed my mood and the way I showed up for that party. Because instead, I started thinking, yes, look at this body that has carried me for 46 years in such a healthy way. And here I am getting ready for a party. How often do I get invited to a party? And I can have fun. And I knew there was going to be Latin music because it was one of my friends' weddings. And I'm like, I'm going to dance all night long. What what can be better than that? So once I changed the shift in what I was thinking and telling myself, it was life-changing. So anyway, you beautiness, beautiful person listening to us. Beautinesses. I want to end this episode by reminding you that your well-being is a priority, that you deserve and have the right to be treated equally by everyone, that your opinion and perspective are important. There's no limit to what you can accomplish. You can contradict and change preconceived perceptions about you, including the one you have about yourself. You deserve appreciation, to be valued and celebrated. You are a gift to yourself, to your friends, to the world. And if you like this episode, don't forget to leave your review and download it and share it with friends.
Maria, do you want to talk about your emotional fitness studio coming up?
Yes! So in 2024, I'm coming up with a workshop series called Emotional Fitness Studio. 24 workshops. Did I just say that? 24 workshops in 2024, but all at an affordable, nice fee of $10 per event. Because why? Because as a therapist, I just want to make it accessible for everyone to have tools that can be helpful to promote their well-being. So I have amazing speakers lined up, including these two beautinesses here. But I have a doctor in Chinese medicine that is going to talk about natural approaches to emotional well-being. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have Zumba.
Oh.
And not that I'm looking at somebody specifically.
Don't sneak those eyes over here.
We're going to have a workout party. We're going to have several therapists talking about good tips that they want to share with our community. They're all in person. And there is more information on my website at www.thecoachingtherapist.com.
And those are perfect for listeners in the Delmarva region,
yes,
right?
Yes, these are for people in the Annapolis surround area.
Love it.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll connect with you next time. Thank you for listening. If you want to connect with me outside of this podcast, you can find me on Instagram at coaching_therapist.
I'm Elizabeth. You can find me at Elizabeth Harris Nutrition or in my Facebook group, Health and Healing with Intuitive Eating.
And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Tara DeLeon Fitness. Guys, if you loved this episode or any of our other episodes, we would love it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcast. It really, really helps us get the non-diet word out to the rest of the world. So please leave us a review.
Yes, thank you.